At the first hint of light, the harshest sound isn't the alarm. It's the biting air slipping through the cracks and forcing you to move. Before coffee, there's the job of getting the stove to breathe, checking firewood, sealing windows, making sure the water doesn't turn to stone in the taps. The family depends on this methodical routine. And one question pulses: how far can a body take such low temperatures? To measure that limit, it helps to look at a spot on the map where the cold calls the shots. Yakutsk in Russian Siberia is the capital of the Republic of Sakha, Yakutia. This autonomous territory spans over 3 million square kilometers, bigger than many countries combined, and is home to about 996,000 people. Half live in Yakutsk, sharing streets and markets among Russians and several minority peoples. There, winter isn't a chapter. It's the whole book. Thermometers spend weeks between 20 degrees C and 49 degrees C, and the extremes have already ripped the scale past 70 degrees C. In this setting, everything needs a strategy. The landscape is an endless white. Fog slices visibility and erases the outlines of buildings and bridges. Technology becomes a gamble. Pipes burst from freezing, electricity cuts out and returns without warning. Engines need to stay running for hours so they don't die. Even car exhaust builds crystals, like the city's own breath hardening in the air. Modern life exists, but in an adapted mode. Every ordinary task gets an extra layer of care. And it's in this extreme daily life that the question pushing us forward takes shape. What choices let you get through a day when the weather seems dead set on ending all the others? When we think of Russia, Moscow and St. Petersburg usually come to mind. Tourist showcases. But far from those routes, there's a territory that almost never makes the itinerary. Not even for Russians, the Republic of Sakha, where Yakutsk sits, in Siberia. To grasp the country's size, the road between Moscow and Yakutia runs about 8,432 kilometers. By car, the trip is an odyssey. By plane, it's still roughly 7 hours. That distance isn't just geographic. It signals a way of life shaped by cold. In Yakutsk, winter rules for up to 9 months a year. In that season, wood stoves work non-stop, and many families prioritize keeping the house warm before even thinking about what goes on the table. Surviving below zero temps demands daily choices. The local economy mirrors that adaptation. With limited farming, markets feature, as headliners, fish frozen outdoors, rigid rows that don't need a fridge. Buying, cleaning, and prepping the catch as soon as you get home has become habit. Frozen fish stopped being just a climate contingency and turned into flavor, culture, and nutrition. Protein and fat help the body face the cold, and the region's cuisine has organized itself around this resource. And that's only part of the picture. Between the heating that can't fail and the diet that depends on what the rivers offer, there are other challenges that mark the routine of those living on this edge of the map. Freshwater scarcity in Yakutia shapes daily life. With no treatment plants and no regular bottled supply, securing drinkable water becomes a top priority. In winter, when pipes freeze and service stops, the answer lies in the rivers. Blocks of ice become the source that keeps homes running. It's not easy to find them in safe conditions, and the work starts before dawn. Collection is a team effort. They saw, drill, and split the ice with spears and axes, each person playing a role to speed things up. Then they haul the blocks by tractor to the village. At home, the ice rests in barrels. To turn it into water faster, it's chopped into smaller pieces. That melted water is used for washing, cooking, and drinking. In Yakutsk, nobody waits on the tap. The trust is in the barrels. Daily life with kids takes even more planning. Streets stay under snow and ice for months, which makes getting around tricky, and delays pile up. Schools only close when the thermometer plunges below 55 degrees C. If it hits 70 degrees C, classes go on temporary pause. Nature sets the pace, and priorities get reshuffled. Less consumption, more adaptation. And before facing the street, comes the day's first shot of energy. Breakfast is straightforward and functional. Fattier foods that deliver dense calories and help the body hold heat. That's how you get through the morning and build up steam for the next trip to the river. Because tomorrow's water starts getting secured today. In Yakutsk, the day starts with dense fuel, rich pancakes and creamy dishes. The menu changes little. Pancakes return to the plate with jam. The kitchen follows a practical logic. Few homes have a fridge. The climate does that job. Food stays outdoors or in a cold area of the house away from the heat and keeps without effort. Outside, the rule of layers applies. Over thermal wear come other pieces. On top, fur coats and insulated boots. It's not about style, it's necessity. Staying outside for more than half an hour can be dangerous, so every outing is calculated. Even then, your body feels it. Eyelashes and eyebrows freeze, a reminder that heat escapes fast. School tracks with this reality. Classes have 8 to 10 students and the school day lasts about 5 hours. The path starts with 4 years of primary school and goes through 11th grade when university comes into view. 3 languages split attention: Russian, English, and Sakha. Sakha belongs to an ancient language family far from Russian. Keeping it alive is identity. For kids, the challenge is doubled. Speak the language of home and master Russian, a basic requirement for chasing opportunities outside the region. After classes, one habit sums up life in the cold: snacks. Eating in short intervals replenishes energy and helps you handle the weather. In Yakutsk, every move, from breakfast to layers of clothing, from small classrooms to snack breaks, is designed to get through the day without wasting heat and to keep the pace. In Yakutsk, the school day begins with a simple gesture. Fruit, drinks, and sweets are handed out to kids, making sure they've got energy to face the cold. Even with harsh temperatures, many walk to school alone. Distances are short and everyone knows everyone. In villages with fewer than 1,000 residents, bonds of trust hold up the routine. In these places, life together is direct and respectful. Half the population belongs to the Sakha people, the Yakuts, which helps create a predictable, calm environment in the streets and classrooms. When it comes to getting around, the rule is clear. Cars and minibuses dominate. Long walks aren't an option. Deep snow turns any route into heavy effort, and after 20 or 30 minutes outdoors, skin starts giving in to frostbite. That's why public transport becomes protection and habit. It's common for the thermometer to hover near 50 degrees C, and that sets the city's rhythm. Air coming out of tailpipes turns to fog almost instantly, cutting visibility to a few meters and demanding constant attention. Body care is part of the daily routine. Metal-framed glasses stay in the pocket. Metal can stick to skin and frozen lenses hurt. So outings are kept to the essentials. Quick shopping, can't miss appointments, short visits. In winter, darkness arrives around 5 p.m. House lights come on early, and the city slows down, saving energy for the next day of absolute cold. In Yakutsk, the day starts with a ritual few people know. Dressing in layers that aren't fashion, they're strategy. Heavy overcoats, ear-covering hats, snug scarves. The air slices your skin and makes any street feel like a supermarket cold room. And since everything here needs a plan B, cars have theirs too. With no covered garages, they sleep out in the open and, to make it, get insulating blankets, heating cables, and constant attention. Ignore that and you'll see the machine stiffen before it even turns over. Inside the house, another routine: washing and drying clothes. Warm water doesn't always make it to the pipes, which freeze. Machines fail. So laundry goes back to elbow grease and drying turns into a spectacle. Clothes go outside, stiffen in minutes, and before wearing, get a quick warm-up by the stove. The cold is so extreme it becomes an open-air lab. Tossing hot water and watching it turn to snow mid-air isn't an internet trick. It's a winter pastime. Visitors find that culture finds a way in this climate too. Ice museums and sculptures run year-round thanks to permafrost, the layer of frozen soil that keeps shapes intact. Most homes, made of wood, hold heat efficiently, reinforced by wood stoves that keep families gathered around the flame. Outside, the scene moves slowly, at the pace of thick-coated horses, hardy reindeer, and dogs that work alongside people. These are species shaped by Siberia, fit to face thermometers that drop to 70 degrees C. While others can't take it, they keep going, showing how life finds ways to continue when the cold sets the rules. And there's more about this daily life that still surprises. In Yakutia, woodworking isn't a profession, it's part of the survival kit. Almost every adult man learns to handle wood early and carries the skill through life, working on makeshift benches in garages, often with their kids by their side. This isn't just a hobby. When a car fails, a roof drips, or a log home wall cracks, The expectation is clear. The resident handles it. In extreme cold, nobody goes out for last-minute repairs or to teach you how to cut meat. Self-sufficiency is the rule. Life is organized around that. Since growing fruits and veggies isn't worth it, the answer is to store large amounts of fish. Groups head to the frozen rivers, open the ice with harpoons, run nets underneath, and wait. It's patient work, repeated through the season. At night, the scene shifts to the kitchen. Women process the day's catch. The process is straightforward and careful, with meticulous cleaning before cooking. Since fish is always on the table, simple methods win, often boiled in salted water. Local cuisine revolves around milk, red meat, fish, and wild berries. Eating horse meat raises no eyebrows. Same with lightly frozen raw fish. One of the best-known dishes is stroganina, frozen trout sliced thin, served for its soft texture and freshness. The preference for raw cuts isn't a trend. It's a response to the weather and the need for energy in winter, when the body asks for dense, reliable food. Everything connects. The workshop in the garage, the net under the ice, the knife slicing fish still firm from the cold. A chain of practices that keeps life moving. In Yakutsk, everything starts with the cold. It isn't just the winter backdrop. It's the force shaping routines, menus, and memories. Among the Yakuts, the Saka people, horse meat and frozen liver hold a central place at the table. This choice didn't appear by chance. In the Ice Age, when every calorie could mean one more day alive, eating raw horse meat ensured survival. The habit crossed centuries and still sustains the identity of those who learn to live where the thermometer hardly ever rises. There's also kumis, fermented mare's milk, served cold, that goes with meals and conversations. For those who know Central Asia, the taste isn't new. Here, though, it works like a password of belonging, a flavor linking past and present with every sip. But adaptation doesn't stop on the plate. When the ground freezes and pipes creak, running water stops existing as a practical idea. Indoor bathrooms? Almost always unfeasible. Sewage would freeze. The solution pops up outside in simple outhouses where haste faces cutting wind. And bathing? It becomes a weekly ritual, usually on Sundays. Instead of a shower, a wood-heated hut with sweet smoke and patient heat. It takes hours of feeding the fire until the place turns into an improvised sauna. Water doesn't come from a tap, but from snow and ice gathered at the river, melted slowly in buckets until it turns into warm liquid. In this unhurried act, there's technique and care, a method that balances climate and comfort, need and creativity. Quiet proof of how the Yakuts turn extremes into routine. After a warm-up that can take 5 hours, Yakutsk's bathhouses reach close to 100 degrees Celsius. Inside, the air vibrates with heat and the body responds right away. Just sitting still, you can burn something like 300 calories. It's a break that resembles a sauna but carries a local twist. A ritual that preps you to face the brutal cold outside and, as a bonus, becomes a topic among friends. When the door opens and the city reappears, leisure follows the weather's rhythm. Kids and adults use the snow like a park. They sled, improvise soccer fields on the ice, play matches that crackle under their cleats. All simple, straightforward, with the joy of using the landscape as a toy. And a few blocks away, another world catches the eye. Shop windows sparkling with cut diamonds, heirs to a story that changed the region's economy. That story starts rough. For a long time, Siberia received convicts sent to the mines as punishment. Today is different, but the ground beneath still decides a lot. The deposits around Yakutsk still attract workers, support businesses, and supply jewelers that scatter reflections across the city. Every stone that lands on a jeweler's bench carries a chain of effort, from digging to precise cutting, and explains why Yakutia remains relevant on Russia's mineral map. Living here means combining extremes: heat that makes you sweat in the bath, cold that cracks the sidewalk, outdoor play and hallways lit by jewels. It's a day-to-day that surprises those far from the big centers and reveals in detail how tradition and work intertwine in the frozen north. So, did you like making this video? If anything surprised you, say so in the comments. I want to know what stood out to you over there. Drop a like, share it with anyone who loves world curiosities, and subscribe so you don't miss the next chapters. Thanks for the company. See you next time.